Hi, I'm Aidan from Modal Electronics, and I was just going to give you a little bit of an overview of some of our upcoming kind of products. We are working on a Eurorack range, and in a nutshell, these are the voices and the filters from our 002 family and the 008 family. Just to give you a quick rundown of what this is, the 002 has NCOs in it, wavetable based oscillators, and a state variable filter. The 008 has a analog VCO with multiple wave outputs and a multi-mode voltage controlled filter with 15 different topologies you can actually select. If we come back over to the 002, I'll just give you a rundown of what the wavetable oscillator does. You have 55 different waves you can actually select from. You have some traditional waveforms like sawtooth, sine wave, pulse, and then you have lots of more complex things you can pick otherwise. The last in the selection is actually a noise waveform as well. The circuitry is pretty much identical across the board of all of these modules to what you actually get in the polysynths. There's a couple of nice little additions as well. Notably, the NCOs have a quite beefy microcontroller, which allows you to do more higher rate FM, so going up to audio rate. And we also have a couple of new features, like we have an LFO mode, and we have both linear and exponential FM. Your CV controls on all of the modules will go to an attenuverter. So this means you have 0 in the middle, you can go to 100% by turning clockwise, and if you go anti-clockwise, then you get to minus 100%. So you get an inverted waveform. The NCO also has a DRes mode, so hitting that will halve the sample rate and you get a more Atari-like kind of sound. So it effectively gives you 55 more waveforms. The VCF module it's a transistor ladder. It has you take two outputs from the circuit. You take a 4-pole from one part and a 1-pole from another part, just by kind of tapping into a different part of the ladder. And the advantage of this is, using some VCAs, you get a continuously variable morph between these two modes. Setting it to the middle, you actually get something that's very similar to a bandpass, and you can have anything in between. It's actually quite useful. I'm just going to show you something quickly over here. If you want to come and look at the screen, is that okay? Just to show you, if I adjust the filter on here, you can kind of get an impression of what the slope kind of looks like as you kind of adjust between these parts. You can also, of course, be playing with resonance, so you can kind of get, anything in between these kind of points. There you go, just to give you an idea. On the VCF, we have CV control over the slope. You can obviously modulate the cutoff, and you have CV control over resonance as well. Of course, these are all on attenuverters also. Just a little note I'd like to add is that we're going to put a second FM input on here as well. It's something we kind of came across in the last couple of weeks. It's like, can't have an envelope and a modulator at the same time. So that's quite important, and it's going to happen. The 008 modules, they're not quite ready to show today, but just to kind of give you an impression of what they do, as you can see, you have multiple waves you can select. These have individual outputs, so there's also a mix output, sub-wav output, and pulse width modulation, and FM, etc., etc. The filter for the 008 has 15 different modes, 2 inputs, and the same kind of features. What was I going to say about that? Actually, do you know what? I'm gonna leave that there if that's okay. Now, are you alright doing a small edit for that? Is that cool? Yeah, sorry. Cool. Finally, we have this module coming up called G-Sync, which is going to be a clock utility. The premise of this is that you can take an analog clock in and get MIDI clock out, or you can take a MIDI clock in and get an analog clock out. and you can get divisions thereof and in between, divisions of multiplications. So it's really designed to integrate with other bits of gear. Yeah. There you go.
And the prices will be?
The prices are aimed to be between $250 and $350 before kind of sales tax, depending on what region you are. I can't remember off the top of my head what that is in euros, but we're aiming for around like the £200 mark. And we're aiming to release them. The 002 family should be available by May. And 008, they're going to be a little bit behind, but we're not far off of those either. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.